Stand tall, walk free. Can you let me know about a little bit about Caicos?
John Caicos and his brother came here to this country illegally from Greece. They snuck on a boat.
Okay, and then tell the audience about how is it tied into your husband, the Caicos?
John Caicos was introduced, his family was introduced to my husband by John Fee, a friend. And he thought that they were a good family because the son was with the IRS and with the Navy, and it seemed like a good family. The wife was a teacher.
But in the long run, it turned out to be not a good family. It turned out to be what?
Yes. John Caicos was going to teach my husband construction, and he knew that my husband had come into money, had inherited money.
From who? What aunt?
From Aunt Marion Neal.
Okay, so anyways, your husband didn't know that he was going into organized crime, right?
No.
And the Caicos was into organized crime.
Yes. And the brother was with the KGB. His brother George Caicos.
Tell the audience a little bit more that you were talking about earlier about the Caicos.
Well, all I can tell you is that he left his wife and he kept my husband. He kidnapped my husband and kept him in hotels in Oakland, and he was messing around with prostitutes.
Now, after that had happened with Caicos, tell the audience about the money laundering and about the cartel.
What do you mean?
When he went and he found out.
There was while my husband was being kept in Oakland at the places that he stayed, there was phone calls coming in of shipments of dope coming in from the airport, and my husband would hear the conversations, and that's how he told me what was going on.
But your husband got too deep, and that's why the police chase happened in May 11th, 1998, and that's why you believe he was murdered. By whom? What's the name of the officer in Alameda?
Pat Wyeth.
Now let's go back about when you guys lived in the house over here in Alameda, you and your husband, when he's still alive. Let's go back and talk about this woman that rented the back house.
Yes.
Tell the audience a little bit about that.
Her name was Lori Taylor, and she was introduced to my husband by some friends of his that worked at the supermarket down the street. And it turned out she said she was a dancer, but we found out that she was not only the daughter of a police officer, Alameda police officer, but she was a stripper, and she had terrible people coming around, murderers coming around. Even Andrew Cunanan came to her house.
So she rented the back house, and what happened?
We had to throw her out because of all the activity, all the people that she had coming around.
Who was her father in the Alameda Police Department?
Terry Taylor.
And what was he involved with?
And he went to Australia in 1995 when my husband first got his money from his aunt that had died. Terry Taylor and somebody from the fire department went to Australia to the Olympic Games over there. And Sergeant Lehman, when I called when my husband was kidnapped in 1996 or 97, knew my husband's bank accounts. He told me the bank accounts over the phone. And when he retired, he went to Australia to live.
So that's connected with Officer Taylor and Officer Lehman. Do you think they were involved in organized crime?
Yes,
the two officers in Alameda?
Yes.
And why do you say that?
I just do. I believe they were. Absolutely. Because it was Mother's Day when Terry Taylor came to see his daughter in 1997, and Mother's Day when my husband was murdered in 1998. A year later.
So what it was, it got too deep. So what it was, they did not only extortion, they did bank fraud too, don't you believe? Because
Yes.
that was dealing with the banks.
Yes.
And they were connected to who?
The Caicos.
And Jeffrey Allen. And what did one of the Caicos from the IRS said about
And
Jeffrey
Bank
Allen?
of America was involved because my husband did have an account with Bank of America, and George Caicos' wife worked for Bank of America.
And who was the IRS?
Judge Allen worked for Bank of America for many years.
And he knew Judge Allen, right?
Yes.
And what did he say about Judge Allen?
And Larry Caicos says that I just got off the phone with Judge Allen. You can't be trusted.
So you know that it's all about bank and bank extortion and money laundering and all that stuff. Let's talk about the bank in Alameda, TransUnion Bank.
Yes.
Let me tell you what happened. I was kind of on my way back, going someplace in Alameda, and I noticed there was an Alameda police officer with a woman from Lance Russell's place. She was an assistant attorney. She tried to hide her face from me, but I knew who she was. And she had a big sack. It looked like it might have been money, and she put it in the bank. And he was with her, the police officer.
Yes.
So what do you think happened right there?
It sounds suspicious to me.
It sounds like they're getting some money laundering and stuff, and then they get the money and they're putting it in that bank. From when I went to the bank, that's TransUnion Bank, I was talking about how I like to make dolls and stuff. And she just opened her mouth. One of the bank Oriental tailors, Taylor, told me that, oh, we could just automatically take your money and just transport it to Hong Kong electronically.
Oh, speaking of Hong Kong, by the way, Mayor Apposado used to live there, and he was going to Hong Kong a few times while he was mayor in Alameda. And they had a big parade the day my husband was killed. They had a big parade at the City Hall. And I thought the mayor might be involved in organized crime.
Well, you know, he died in 2002.
Yes.
And what happened? What happened to the mayor? Rob Apposado.
They say he shot himself.
Do you think that's true?
No. And there was never an investigation either.
Well, you know that year Mr. Muhammad Jawad died on March 25th, 2002. It sounds very suspicious.
Yes.
And then you know who came in on this is Antonio Aiello, the coach, and all of a sudden he starts owning the whole place.
Yes.
So we'll continue to talk more about this, okay?
Sure.
Stand tall, walk free.